how joint family and nuclear family, what are the benefits of a joint family? We are not promoting any particular family because it's difficult in today's time that everything changes. A joint family is not possible. And you will find that things will change. But a nuclear family is, you have to be, especially when you are a couple and you don't have a support system, you have to be even more qualified to raise a family. Qualification is one of the most preemptive measures, preemptive steps for you to raise a family. So when I say qualified, means it's not about your physical capacity to be qualified. It is your skill, it is your knowledge, it is your wisdom to raise a family. So why I'm saying is, in this context, the power of unity is extremely important, especially when you are a victim of trying times. You have no idea how unity helps. I know Neha keeps on telling me, sir, I go to Nasik, I go to Agra, because my entire family is there, and I feel good when the whole family is there. So what is that which makes you feel good when you see them after a long time? And what is that which goes wrong when you live with them? I'm not saying that she's incapable of living with them or that there's something wrong there. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that, see, from a distance, when you've not met, everything is fine. But when you start living, that's when the problem starts. It's imaginary. The problem should not start. Somewhere, if you want to have everybody living together in the family, it is that serviceness. See, sacrifice is too fine and it is too far-fetched a word in this context. But you just have to have that attitude of serving. Someone in your family is he likes food. Doesn't matter, go with that person. Has a value for food, go with that person, it's fine. Someone in a family has a value for television, go with that person. As long as it's not disturbing you, let the person there. But instead of that, you will say, oh, you want food your way. And instead of that, you will say, you are watching TV and I don't get a chance. And that's how these things start. So, I know Neha will ask me questions. That's why I'm saying this. So you got to give in today's language, what people talk about loosely is giving space. You got to give each one space. I've told you many times, you may like the house in a particular way, but that doesn't mean you go behind everybody and bug them. See, when you are disciplined, when you are following the rules of the house, people may take time to adjust. They are not used to as you are. And you can't expect people to come up to your level of commitment, your level of discipline. It's not possible. So therefore, what do? You wait for them to be mild, be charitable. Don't be in a rush. Don't pinpoint. Don't go after them. Everybody is not perfect. So you need to be qualified with wisdom and knowledge to raise a family. Only then you can raise a family. If not, if you're not qualified, you cannot just say that, oh, let's have a family and have children and make them victims of mental tyranny. You don't know the technique of life. Firstly, you don't know the technique of life. Secondly, first fault is that. Second fault is you do not know the technique of relating to your spouse, relating to your children. And in that, you go and make a mistake without planning to have a family. Don't understand who you're going to encounter in terms of your son. You don't know who you're going to encounter in terms of your daughter or daughters or sons. So it is the biggest error you make when you, today especially, see, in the olden times, you find the problems were less. because they were prepared. They were well prepared to raise a family. A girl used to be prepared. A man used to be prepared to have that protectiveness, to stand up for the family and not just leave the family here and dry and absolutely arid dry. A woman was prepared to raise a family. Whatever little values, at least she was brainwashed into that. Today, people are coming from broken homes. People are coming from distorted families, from unsound mental environments. And then you find that to escape that, you find a partner, you get married. No, escape a partner, you get children. So everything, your starting point is an error. So when your starting point is an error, your ending point will always be erroneous. So why I brought this up was, I said in that talk, for the love of family, I said there was no counseling in the olden days. There was no counseling in the olden days because they lived in a joint family system. So if your child has, the child was everybody's child. There was uncles and aunts and everybody's child. So there was no such thing as mental health. One whack, if the father mother says something, he'll go to his uncle. If the uncle says something, he'll go to his aunt. If the aunt says something, he'll go to his grandmother. And the children are very smart, even that time. What, Meeraji? Children are too smart, they're manipulative. If everything fails, then they'll go to the grandparents, because the grandparents will finish everybody off. The child will go and sit on the lap of the grandfather and say, the grandfather, and they had respect those days for the grandfather because he was the main protagonist of the house. And when the grandfather, when everybody sees that, the mother will say, you're sitting in the grandfather, you come to the room, I'll show you. Think smart. Mother may say that. Father will say, this fellow is such a rascal. Because the father is saying himself in him. Even I used to do the same thing. You understand? So where is the question of mental health? Today, if you are not qualified, where will your children go? There is no unity. The point I'm making is, from last time's class, you need to understand the power of unity. Where will your children go? Husband does not understand the concept of unity. Wife may understand. Husband does not understand the concept of unity. How long can the woman be understanding? So you don't understand, and if the lady and the man both don't understand the concept of unity, each one is flaring, each one is manifesting their impulses after getting married. You can't flare up your impulses. You may be impulsive at times, but if you go on flaring up your impulses, that's where you cannot relate to each other. And when you cannot relate to each other, in that you go and take a decision to raise a family, bring another life in the world, and you make a mess because you yourself are not qualified to handle yourself. When you cannot handle yourself, how can you handle your spouse? When you cannot handle your spouse, how can you have children? When you cannot have children, how can there be harmony? So it's such a vicious circle that people all over the world are victims of the cycle, and hence today mental health is totally in doldrums and mental wellness is everywhere. They talk about mental wellness, as a result of which you find that there are psychiatrists, counselors mushrooming. They are only, and thank God for them, they are only pills. They are only deep heat. You know, deep heat? Muscles, when you have, they only put that relaxants, muscle relaxants. They themselves don't know the crux of what is mental wellness or what is mental health. Hence, it's spreading. See, you must understand by the graph of how it is, either it's going down, is it static, is it going down, or is it going up? That's how you gauge. And people are, the pharma industry is making a blast out of this. Pills from the age of 9, 10, 11. You're constantly addicted to pills. So he says, Arjuna tells Bhima last time, Brother, understand that they have not taken one thing from us. And we should ensure that we do not give that one thing to them. Them is the Kauravas. And we have not given as Pandavas, we have not given that one thing is brotherhood, is unity. Let them not take it from us and let them not create a divide in us so that we ourselves give them our unity, as a result of which we will be disintegrated. And once we are disintegrated, we'll be scattered. Once we are scattered, we will not unify. Once we not unify, we have our ego. Once we have our ego, we will destroy ourselves. This is the logic.